Welcome to Spotlight Series number 5 with Miss Kalisha Carter. Kalisha, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great actually. How are you?
I'm phenomenal. You're feeling great because you had a delayed flight in Houston and now you're back in Tampa safe and sound. So,
Listen,
and
nothing
back
like
to
home, nothing like being home. So I'm just happy to be in my space, in my bed, in my shower. So it's good to be home.
I hear you. I hear you. Because you're doing a lot. I mean, you are speaking at events, you're going to events, you're hosting meetups, you're raising money, you're doing webinars, you're active on social media. So you got the whole repertoire of things going on, which is great to see.
Yeah.
And the value that I've seen you provide is really just kind of without question. So I'm really excited to get you on and kind of just talk about some raising money things, which I'm still pretty green in, to be honest, as well. So I'm excited to dig into it a little bit. But real quick, what would you say the number one misconception about raising capital is in real estate?
That's a good question. Wow, I've never gotten that question before. But I would say it's everyone think that it's hard. And I think they would think that it's hard because it has a lot to do with your thoughts on money, of thinking you don't know anyone with money, you don't know anyone sitting on $2 million or $500,000. And I think a lot of people just think it's the hardest thing to do. And that was me as well. That is also me sometimes when I need to raise a certain amount of money. But what I've understood now is that if I need to raise 500,000, yes, it would be great to find one person with 500,000, but you can find multiple people with a 500,000. So it's now training your brain to think it's not finding one person with the total amount of money that you're raising, but it's finding multiple people to raise that total amount. And once you do it, you're going to be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. That was easy. I was just overthinking it.
Yeah. I mean, so much of it is mindset, no matter what you're doing,
Yeah.
but it kind of goes around this theme or idea of raising your thermostat. It seems like this scary kind of, boogeyman under the bed because you've never done it. But say you've only ever raised $20,000 and then you're like, oh, how could I ever raise $100,000? That'd be crazy. And then you do it enough times and then it's just normal. But I feel like that's just part of growth of anything you're doing, is living in that uncomfortability. And that's how you level up. But I love that it's really just a mindset thing is the biggest hurdle.
Thing. And then like you have to like really continuously be working on that, because it's just as you just want to get your first raise, right? So when I just started, I thought $50,000 for me, with my background from coming from Jamaica, like $50,000 US is a lot of money. So when I found one person who just gave me $50,000, I was like, wait, what? Just like that. And then I was like, okay, that means I can raise $100,000. I can get that from one person. I can get that from two person. So as you said, like the more you keep doing it, the more you realize that, oh, it's not hard. It's really, how can I get creative with raising this total amount of money that I really need?
Yeah, that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And do you think that imposter syndrome, just kind of going on mindset here, do you think imposter syndrome is always something that you kind of have to deal with? Because if you're always going to be leveling up, you're always kind of playing in that level ahead where you don't feel like you're capable of being,
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I still face that. I remember a couple months ago when I really started taking capital raising seriously. And I was like, I'm not an expert, and people are calling me an expert, but I'm like, in the back of my head, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And I was like, I struggle a lot with imposter syndrome. And I'm like, how can I get rid of it? So I always focus on getting rid of imposter syndrome, only to find out that you will never get rid of it. Because as you said, each level that you get to, you're gonna face it. It's really, what do you do in that moment to kind of deal with that imposter syndrome? So for me, it's really looking back how far I've come, to be like, you have done X, Y, Z to get here. And this is why people will consider you to be an expert, because you have done this. Like, try to find all the things that you have accomplished in that field and give yourself grace, give yourself credibility, give yourself a pat on the shoulder that you have earned this to where you have come this far. So, but you will always freaking face imposter syndrome, because I face it.
1000%. Yeah.
1000.
It's just, and it's having a certain level of confidence and courage, right? Courage
Yeah.
isn't not having fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyways. So
Yeah.
despite the uncomfortability and the fear, you're leveling up and you're pushing yourself and doing those things. And community probably plays a big role in that as well. The people that you're around, if you're around people that are a level above you, it
Yeah.
seems more normal and they kind of pull you up. So
No, and having that coach or even that mentor that you can go to, and I think that helped me a lot as well, because I was able to go to different coaches and I'm like, hey, I'm experiencing this right now. Like, is this normal? Like, why am I facing this? What can I do to get rid of this? And for them to tell me, like, Kalisha, like, no matter what stage you're at, you're gonna face it. It's a part of growing. And it took me a while to really get that. But having that person that you can always go to and really share what you're struggling with that can guide you as well is super important.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm so glad that we started out with mindset. I love talking about mindset.
Same.
Getting into your story though, give us kind of the 1-2 on how you've gotten to where you are today.
All right. I'm gonna sum this up. I've been trying to figure out a way to sum up all of this. So Jamaican, moved to the US, gave up my perfect corporate marketing job to come to a whole new country, worked in the restaurant industry because I was unsure what I wanted to do with my life next. And then being in that space, I got into real estate investing, figured it out through Google, Bigger Pockets, different podcasts, stuff like that. And in going through the process of acquiring real estate, I found out that, okay, Kalisha, you cannot get a loan because you're not a US citizen. I was like, there's no way. There has to be a way because someone else has done it. So long story short, found a way, this whole thing called private money. And I was like, okay, if I was using friends and family to get more projects, there's actually a truth to using other people's money. And I started doing it and doing it. And I was like, all right, I need to learn the right way, the process, so I could do more of it. So I invested in mastermind programs. So I joined like Amy Majori mastermind group where I really learned the right way how to do it, how to explain the process. But even after I did that, again, I didn't believe in myself that I could do it. Coming from my background, I'm like, I don't know anyone in the US who have money. I don't think there's anyone that's going to trust me with money. It's going to be hard for me to raise $25,000, even though I'd had friends and family invested more than $25,000 for us. And I kind of push it on the back burner because I didn't believe in myself. And a couple months after, I was in another mastermind program and we had to kind of dig deep into what is it that you really want. Like if you had a genie and you could get the dreams, all your dreams come true, or your wishes, what would that be? And in that session, I was like, you know what? I really want to be known as a capital raiser. No fear, but I want to be known as a capital raiser. I want to be known as when persons need money, they think of me and they come to me. And I remember writing that out fully, how I would feel when I get that accomplishment. And after that class session, I was like, you know what? I'm really going to go all in with this capital raising thing. And I kid you not, I went all in, Jake. And the amount of opportunities and doors that started opening for me, I was like, all because I went all in, these things came up. And because I also stayed consistent with it. Because even after I decided I wanted to go all in, there were times when I was doubting myself, okay, this is not working out. I made a wrong decision. Switch your strategy. And I was like, no, just keep pushing and keep doing it. And the progress that I've made over a year, it's insane because I decided to go all in. I would say February, March of 2023. And we're recording this now, May of 2024. So people will see me now and be like, you've been doing this a long time. No, I just went all in and stayed consistent with it.
Yeah, that is incredible. Going all in is such an important part of it. It's really tough to find success when you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because your brain is always going to seek out that escape route when it gets difficult. It's always going to look for that plan B.
Yeah.
But when you essentially, as Tony Robbins and, David Goggins would say, you burn the boats, then there is no other way. People say, well, what happens if it goes wrong?
So
that's not an option. This is working, right? I'm building the business. It's happening. But what if what are you going to do though? Where are you going to live?
Yeah.
Listen, this is happening. There's no other way. So when you have that mindset, it's what you have to have. And I think a big theme of everything you just said right there revolves around courage, honestly. And I haven't really thought about it before, but it is. I mean, coming to America as the first one in your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming to America.
To move here. Yeah. Cause I would travel back and forth, but to actually like give up, come into a whole new, well, I've been here, but come to live here, not knowing what the system is like. It's a whole different ball game. And it had a lot to do, as you said, courage. It had a lot to do with faith. And then just believing that it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. Just keep your head down. You're here for one reason only. And it's to make better, get better opportunities so you can take care of your family. So it's just staying head on and stay focused on what the goal is. And I just had to do that to get through it in a whole different country.
Yeah, absolutely. What role has paying for the masterminds and the education as well as community played in your success and being able to get to the level that you're at?
A significant role. It was so impactful. I'm so glad I did it. For someone who thought mentorships, mastermind was a whole scam. And then I think thought persons would take my money, the amount of money as well that they were charging. I'm like, oh, hell no, that's way too much money. But I gotten to the point where I was like, I needed to be around people who was doing what I was doing. I needed a coach. I needed a mentor to really tell me or guide me. This is the stuff that you need to do, instead of me figuring everything else out on my own. And I just thought that I had to switch again my mindset from thinking this is going to be an expense of going into a mastermind, but more of an investment. So I would use this scenario, but like when I wanted to go to college to get my degree, I didn't view college as an expense. It was an investment to get a better education. So I had the same viewpoint. And this is how I literally convinced myself to join the mastermind program. Kalisha, in order for you to learn XYZ, think about it, it's college. This is going to be an investment. You have to pay a tuition to get in and learn and be around a community. And I think once I kind of like start training my brain that this is how I have to think, this is going to be an investment, I just started going in on mastermind. I think I've joined three mastermind in less than a year. So 3 mastermind in less than a year, that's valued over like $25,000 to $30,000. Yeah. And I keep joining. Every time I'm like, no more mastermind, I'm done. Something pops up, because at that stage in my life where I need help, I was like, yeah, I need a coach. Let's join another mastermind. And I know I'm going to join way more mastermind after this too.
Listen to me. If you are not around people who are paying for education and masterminds, and you're not around the right people, I'm telling you, because the people who don't understand that, they just remain at the same level. Like there's so many people out there who won't even spend $1,000 for anything. They'd be like, that is a waste of money. I can do it for free on YouTube. I can do it for free on YouTube, and it'll take me a year, but it's worth it. It's just such a backwards mindset. But
it is. And you're gonna have friends. I had friends who, when I told them how much money I paid on one mastermind, they're like, you did what? And I was like, yeah. They're like, wait, you paid so much money? I was like, no, I didn't have to pay all of it up front. I did payment plan, all of that. But I found myself like, I was justifying why I paid the money for the mastermind. And I had to like catch myself and be like, bro, like, this is for you. Like, you don't owe anyone anything to explain to them why you pay X amount of money for a mastermind. You know within yourself what you need. So if that's what you need and that's what it's cost, do it. Like, you don't owe anyone any explanation.
All you need is one relationship. One relationship could make you $1 million. You know what's so funny? I went to college, right? I got a finance degree, and I didn't really use it for anything, but I met my now business partner in school. So people tell me, hey, was college worth it? Worth it for me because I met my business partner. We've made almost, in the past couple of years in revenue, almost $1 million together. So one relationship from college, which was maybe 40 grand or whatever it was, has turned out into that. So pretty crazy. So even if you spend, 5, 10, 20, 15 on the mastermind, all you need is one relationship, and you could walk away with 5, 10, whatever it is. So
like I've gotten infinite return. There's one community that I joined. It was like $1,400 for the entire year. And within the first month, I raised $50,000. That's I made my money back, because after raising that $50,000 and charging a consulting fee, that was way more than what the mastermind costs. So I'm like, oh, I made my money back. I'm fine. I'll definitely keep renewing my membership.
100%, yeah. And it's all what you got to put work into it though. You have to go with the right mindset and really look to extract what you can out of it.
Yeah.
Obviously give value to other people, but you want to extract things.
Exactly.
So what, in simple terms, what is raising money? Because for the longest time, I never really understood it. Seemed like too complicated, but for someone who has really no idea, what is raising money for real estate?
Raising money is really, you just gotta, I need to find a simple way to put this, but like you have an opportunity, and whatever that opportunity is, business, or real estate, whatever it is. And let's say to acquire that opportunity, you need $5,000. Who do you know that you can go to for that $5,000? That's it. It's who do you know? And if you don't know someone who directly has that $5,000, is there someone else that I can go to who has that $5,000? That's raising the money. That's it. You're raising money that you personally do not have. That is the rate, and you're raising money for anything at all. You have an opportunity. Now you need to go find the money. That's it. Simply, if you need to go to a bank, you go raise the money from the bank and you take a loan. But in our case, we raise the money from a private individual where you can set the terms together. You agree on what the returns are together. There are no set rules or anything like that. It's like me and you. I'm like, Jake, can you lend me $100? I'll pay you back in 2 months. That's it. And for James to be like, I know Kalisha, I'm going to lend Kalisha $100 for 2 months. So that is raising money. Who do you know who has the money, or who can you reach out to that have the money? That is literally capital raising.
Yeah, that is very simple. Very simply put. And why would they give you the money?
So multiple reasons. An investor will give you money because either they're looking for a return, they're looking to make some form of interest because their money is sitting in the bank, wherever it's sitting, and it's just not doing anything. Sometimes they may be looking to grow their portfolio, whether they want to buy more real estate, but they also love their W-2 job and they have the money, or they want to acquire businesses as well, but they don't want to deal with the operation. So they'll also give you their money. They will give their money because they actually love seeing what you're doing. And they're like, oh my gosh, you are actually doing what you said you were going to do. I want to be a part of this journey. I believe in your dreams. I think you can go further. Based on what you're doing, here's some money. I'm going to invest in you because I trust you as an individual. I believe in you. Do whatever it is that you want with the money, but I need a return on it as well. And the list goes on and on. So it's really going to come down to whatever opportunity that you have personally. So if I have an opportunity for, I want to go into new construction. Now I need to go find someone who believes in what I'm doing, right? Or looking for a return, and I can go to them and be like, hey, can you lend me money for this project that I am doing? And based on what their needs are or their goals are, that's how we'll put everything together.
Yeah, that is great. I like the point you made about investing in you. Some people will do that. Hey, here's the money. I believe in you and your vision. I trust you to go allocate these funds appropriately and responsibly. I think from a numbers perspective, we're very fortunate in real estate to get returns that are not really seen anywhere else. So in that sense, it could be an easy sell. Because if you can go tell someone, hey, I can get you 10, 12, 10% return on your money in addition to like a 15% IRR, not to be complicated, but say the asset sales, right? That's very attractive for someone who has money just sitting in a stock account or, an IRA, self-directed IRA or whatever, earning nothing. It's not a very hard sell as long as you're credible and, show them that you know what you're doing. There's a lot of money out there.
A lot. Yeah, there is. And And even though it's also going to come down to the knowledge of that person with the money. Because let's say, for example, this person has a W-2 job and they love their W-2 job. They don't know much about investing, but it's easier for them to understand the return for real estate rather than if you have a business and you want to break down cash flow and it gets all complicated. That person may not even understand it. Because for them, they're like, okay, this is too complicated. This is overwhelming. I don't have the business side, the invested knowledge or anything like that. Even though they could be making similar return, but just the numbers, the analysis and everything is completely different, which can be overwhelming to someone else. So it also comes down to that individual who has the capital and their knowledge of investing. I found a lot of investors who they don't know much even about real estate. One of my lenders, they just know that they would love to own rental properties. They don't want to be landlords or anything like that. They've tried it. They don't like it. They were losing money. They didn't even know they were losing money. For them, they're like, I have an asset. That's it. And I could stay here whenever I want. So I provided an opportunity, which was a real estate opportunity. And I said, hey, if you bring money, I'll give you a piece of the pie. You have equity in this asset because you want to own assets. That way, whenever you travel, you can stay at this property. You don't have to deal with tenants, no nothing, but you are now growing your portfolio without knowing much about real estate. So in sharing that, that was their goal. And they also wanted to invest with me. They wanted to partner with me as an individual. So that's two main reasons why they invested in one of my deals too. But I made sure to understand what is it that they really want and what their goal is, and then put everything together.
What do they want and what is their goal? It sounds like some sales to me, folks. But I mean, everything is sales, right? And what is sales? It's just understanding, hey, what are your needs? What are your wants? What are your goals?
Yeah.
Do I have something that can solve those wants, needs, and goals?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And if I do, I need to convey it to you, in a way that makes sense to you and makes you want to do business with me.
Do it. It's crazy as you mentioned sales too, because I hated sales. I was like, I don't want to learn sales or anything like that. I don't want to sell anyone anything. And I went to a conference and someone mentioned that raising capital is sales. And the way how they broke it down, I'm like, man, I really got to put more effort into learning about sales, learning how to negotiate, learning how to understand what is it that the person need. And as you said, like every single thing is about selling. The moment you really like come to terms with that, you'll put more effort into learning about sales, the strategies, the process, negotiation, persuasion skills. All those things come in hand when you need to raise private capital.
Absolutely. Yeah. Understanding their goals, right? I think sales is a positive thing though. I mean, it's like the old school salesman has a really bad or negative connotation, but sales is ultimately about providing a solution to someone, or you're enhancing someone's life, right? And inherently, I think human beings, we don't like to make decisions. So it's tough to make those decisions. So it's like, hey, understand their goals. If this can improve their life, you're doing them a service, like you're impacting their life positively. You just have to get them to realize it is good for them,
Exactly.
In that way, which makes it exciting.
Yeah.
So what does the raising capital business model look like? I'm kind of curious of that. So like, what kind of team do you have around you? What systems and processes do you use? What does a fully functioning business look like?
So the approach with our model is mainly connecting, being a matchmaker with investors and persons who have the capital. So if Jake, as an investor, you want capital, then you will come to my team for that capital. So that's a service that we provide. And in addition is we go through a whole process. So we vet the deal as if it's our own. So we use the same criteria as if when we're buying our own deals. And then it has to pass an underwriting stage. Your deal needs to have multiple exit strategies. It needs to have a certain profit margin. And then once you pass the underwriting stage, now we need to vet the borrower. Who are we really raising capital for, right? Have they done this before? Is this their first deal? How is the lender, the person who's coming in with the capital, how is their money protected? So we're treating this as if it's our own deal. We have our processes in place. And that's why our lenders believe in us so much, because we go through such a thorough due diligence process, and they trust that we've vetted the deal, we vetted the borrower, and we're presenting them an opportunity where it's clean, it has multiple exit strategies, their money is protected, and there are multiple ways for them to get their money back. Our team has maybe like 3 persons, which is me, my admin person, and my underwriter, which is a tough cookie, by the way. It could be my friend that I'm like, this is a good deal. It's my friend, and he's like, no, this doesn't match the criteria. I need this, I need that, to make sure to see if this deal is worth you raising capital for. So I think even having a team that's looking out for your own like good and stuff like that is super important. And a lot of it as well come through collaboration. People will see the deals that we're raising capital for, and again, because they know how much due diligence we put in place, they will go out and raise the money for us. We put the deck and everything together, and they'll be like, hey, Kalisha, I see your email just came out. I have a lender that has this capital and want to invest for them. It's easier because I've done most of the work already. I put everything together. Our team already put everything together for them, so they can share it with their investor. And a lot of them just want to work with us because we've built our credibility, the thorough due diligence. Again, we make sure that even though we connect an investor with a lender, we don't just disappear. We're in the deal until that lender gets their money back. So we're the one providing updates to the lender. We're also communicating with the borrower. Hey, how's the project going? Do you foresee any delay? And because of our investor background, if there's any delay, we can also propose solutions as well. So we're literally in the transaction from the start to the end, and our lenders like that. Also, the borrowers love that because they don't have to worry about, I need to keep track of when this loan is due. I need to send update to lender. I can focus on finding more deals and completing the project at hand.
Love it. So some of the, I guess, external players not on your team would be the person lending the money, the lender. Yeah. And then you have the borrower person who needs the money.
Yeah.
And then within your own team, you have an underwriter who's going to do a lot of the deep level underwriting. You obviously still have a high level understanding of what's going on, but he probably loves numbers, or she loves numbers and is doing that. And then you have an admin person who's kind of taking care of some of the, lower dollar per hour tasks. Are still very important, but you can't be doing that if you're building relationships, right?
Yeah. And it's super with the admin person. Is super, super important because they're the one where once the deal is passed on the writing, once I vet the bar, they're the one that put the pitch deck together to really break it down after review it. They're also the one to make sure that investors get those pitch deck. They're the ones that make sure that if they have any questions, that they're setting up meetings with the lender and myself for us to review the deal. So they play a very crucial role in my business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All the team members are absolutely everything. Yeah. It's something I'm starting to learn how important it is to have really good team members, because once you have the systems and the processes in place, it just becomes about execution. Yes. And execution solely rests on the people executing. Yeah. So depending on how capable the people are is going to make all the difference in the world, especially in regards to how much you have to be involved. Am I always answering questions? Do I have to micromanage, or can I, does it free me up? Yeah. So the team is huge.
Super important.
Can you take me through the let's call it the life cycle of the lead, but from a lead potential capital source to funding secured? What might that look like?
That's a good one. So the person, let's say they found me on, I'm going to use this example of this investor. This person, we're in the same mastermind group, and in being in the same mastermind group, they did their due diligence, and then they sent me a message. Hey, I see what you're doing. I'd love to invest in you. I have capital I want to deploy. And what deal do you have? My process, hey, let's get on a phone call. Let's see if we're a good fit. Please fill out this form, this intake form, so I get an understanding of What's your source of funds? How much money you have? What are you looking to do? XYZ. That way, when we have our one-on-one meeting, which is usually a 15-minute call for me, then we'll see do I have an opportunity that matches what you're looking for, or even if we're a good fit. Because not because someone has the money means that I'm going to take their money. So that's where the qualification also comes in place. Once they fill out my form, I need to figure out where's the money coming from? What are your goals? How soon are you looking to fund? Why do you want to even lend? If I bring you an opportunity right now, would you be ready to jump on a deal? Do you need more time? That deal comes in, I qualify them. Once they're qualified, now it's for us to go and find an opportunity which is a deal that matches what their investment is. So if that investor has $50,000, they're looking to lend for 6 to 12 months, and they're looking for X return, I need to go find an opportunity, right, that matches that criteria. Now, not saying I need to go find a deal that matches the exact 50,000 or 6 to 12 months, 12% or 10% return. If I can find something close to it, then I will also present it to that lender as well. Make sure that it passed underwriting, of course, and everything is good. Once that is done, and they're like, Kalisha, this is a deal that we want to do. The next step is that we organize everything with the paperwork. So we coordinate things with title or closing attorney, whoever is drafting the paperwork. From there, once paperwork is good, we'll inform the lender, paperwork is good. The next step, you need to wire the funds. And here's the title company or closing attorney info, wire the funds. Bam, done. Once they wire the funds, our job is to confirm with title. You got the wire? Yes. Can you send us the closing documents, a soft copy, the signed one, so we can send it to our lender? Also advise us, when will the paperwork be mailed to the lender? Because title general, they should send a physical copy, like an actual copy, to that lender. We follow up with that, make sure the lender has their thing. From that, the next step is really now keeping track of, in our system, the loan due date, the next time that we should do an update. So if this is a 8-month loan, right? Okay, and we just closed in May, the next update we're going to provide to the investor will be maybe July or June. So we need to keep track of that. We're going to put that in our system, so we know we need to check in with the borrower that at that time, how's the project going? From there, we do a little back and forth, remind you, hey, your loan is coming due. Then, which is a crucial part, is once the loan is coming due, we now create a payoff statement. So that way, if this lender is completely new, if you ask them for a payoff statement, they're going to be like, what is that? I don't know what is that. So our team create that payoff statement, guide them what they need to fill out. We take that payoff statement, we give it over to title and make sure title has everything. And this payoff statement generally shows who the lender is, who the borrower is, how much money they should be getting, including their principal, their interest, if there's any late fee, where the money should be going. Are you sending a check? Are you sending a wire? Here are the wire instructions. So we make sure title has all of that. And now we wait until they get their money back. Once they get their money back, which a lot of people forget, once the lender confirms that they have their money, you need to send that lender something called a satisfaction mortgage, because you need to release the lien that was originally put on that property. So you need them to sign to be like, I got my money back. You can go ahead and remove the second lien because I repaid the mortgage. If you forget to get that satisfaction mortgage, you literally pay the lender and you still have a second lien on it. Yeah, a lot of investors forget to do that.
That is phenomenal. I mean, that's straight from lead to closing, actually. Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. So to funding secured, is essentially they're gonna go through the intake form, and then it's an underwriting process, a vetting process to their credibility, and then what they're looking for, and then it's on to searching for the project, and then furthermore. The things people can rewind that you just stated there, ensure that it gets to closing and the deal actually closes. And then you get paid once the deal closes, or technically you get paid once the funds are secured?
No, once the deal is closed. Once the deal is closed, that's when we get paid. We do the standards invoice, the title company, all those stuff, wire instructions. They send over the fund. We're stated on the HUD as what our fee is. That's a consulting fee because again, we are providing a service to that investor. And then that's when we get paid. To wait to do all that work and then you have to wait until the end of 7 months to get paid. No.
Yeah.
No.
Incredible. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I thought that was pretty value packed for 30 minutes. We're a little bit over, but
good.
For you, that is acceptable. Where can people find you?
At Kalisha Carter, I have the handle on my screen. So anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, it's gonna be my full name, no middle name or anything. It's full KELEISHACARTER. And the best way to even message me is always gonna be on LinkedIn or Instagram, but I'm also active on Facebook as well.
Beautiful. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Those are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Lastly, to sign off here, what is the number one action step that someone needs to take today if they have no experience raising money and they want to get started?
Go tell someone what you're doing. And what I mean is, if you have done a deal, if you have if you wholesale a deal, if you flipped, if you have a rental, go tell somebody. It could be a friend or family. Hey, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm looking to do. Just start planting that seed. Even on your Facebook, maybe you recently closed a transaction or you went to a conference or a meetup or something, post that as well on your LinkedIn, go post it on your Facebook. You need to start letting persons know what you're doing because you're now start planting the seed of raising capital. So that way, if you go to an individual that, hey, I have this opportunity, I need this money, they're going to see that you have been doing this. Even for a month or two, you have been consistent with doing this. And this is not just out of the blue. You got up this morning that you want $50,000 for a project.
Get loud on social media, folks. Can't do business with people who have no idea what you do.
Yeah.
Can't be a ghost. But Kalisha, I appreciate you. I'll see you around. For everyone else, next time.